Voice is live now.
Yes, they are live now.
Okay, let's get started. This is a meeting of the Facilities Committee. It's April 9th, 2026, and it's 6:32 p.m. And let's get started with introductions. Luke.
Luke Johnson, Network Administrator.
Shannon Merrill, Assistant Superintendent for Business.
Kelly Verdina, Director of Technology.
Dennis Pugliese, Director of Facilities.
He's Morton Pound of Senior Woodland.
Elizabeth McDonough, Assistant with the Director of Facilities.
David Warner, Board Member.
Chris Valen, Board Member.
Online here, could you give us the Brady Bunch?
I'm Mike DeVogel from the Palumbo Group. We're the construction managers for the science labs.
Stu?
Stu Gordon from BBS.
Dean?
Dean Sprock from Savin Engineers.
Fred?
Fred Seba from BBS Architects and Engineers.
Nicole?
Nicole Longmore, and I am a parent.
Good. Is there anybody else, anyone I've missed?
Jessica Muldoon.
Hi, Jessica Muldoon, parent.
Good. Katie McGee?
Hi.
Sorry.
Katie McGee, parent. No, I just joined. Thanks.
Good. Michael?
Is it Michael DeVogel?
Oh, it's already gone. Sorry.
Nope.
Okay, that's all I know about. Anybody I missed? Okay, hail, the gang's all here. To the agenda. The first item is to let us know who the voting members are, and they're set for the year. And then we go directly to project status. Could you bring up the BBS project status report?
Yep, give me a second. Let's take a look here. EBS project status. Whoops, hold on a second. Sorry.
Take it away, Fred.
Okay, so the first one is the water main fire hydrant project. We're working on a license agreement between the Stone Oaks Board and the school district. Your attorney is in the middle of that. They asked for insurance from each of the subcontractors, including BBS and the contractors. So that has all been sent over, I believe, to their council. We got comments from the Westchester County Department of Health regarding the double check valves and the water meters. We are resubmitting this week because what we found was where we were going to put the double check valves and water meters in below grade vaults actually floods. There must be rock layers there that carry water down to that location because it's not groundwater. But we dug test pits there, and those test pits, when there was a rainfall, those test pits filled with water. So we can't use below grade boxes or vaults as we had originally anticipated. So we have resubmitted on above grade vaults for the double check valves and for the water meters.
You said at the beginning something, and then therefore it's not groundwater, something about rock, etc. Can you just repeat that part for me? I need to digest that better.
Sure. What we found was we were up there after rainfall, and originally we were going to put the double check valves and the water meters in below grade vaults in order to keep them off of the side of the roadway, just to keep the roadway wider. That roadway is pretty narrow in that area. You want to plow snow, you want to do all of that. So we put them in below grade vaults. When we dug the pit for the vault, we went up there after rainfall and found that the pit was completely flooded. So apparently what's happening is that water is running along underground rock layers and down into that area. So we can't have a double check valve underwater or a water meter underwater. So we had to revise our design and put them in above grade vaults.
So the
So-
water you observed was groundwater.
It was not groundwater. It was runoff that was apparently running on top of rock layers located under the ground
It's a bowl.
and then finding its way down into that pit area where we were originally going to put the below grade pits.
No, I'm asking because one, I still see some things filled with water.
It's still
It
filled with
hasn't
water.
rained in a few days.
Even like.
And because we had the other issue, which I thought we were told was groundwater. I'm looking at the two things, not just the one thing, so that's why I'm stopping.
We've had that problem
Same area.
for 8 years. I know that the town has been testing it for like chlorine to see if there's a water main break or something over there, because when that stream was totally, back in August, when the ponds had dried up, there was still water down there.
And we
don't know why. We don't know where it's coming from.
Right,
Okay.
so that's why I've always doubted the fact that, sorry, it was groundwater.
I
I
believe,
feel like unfortunately.
I believe it's the leak, somebody's water main from somewhere, that's just happened to be a low spot between the field. And, that there's a low line, there's a ton of water there, even when it doesn't rain for.
Right. Okay,
Okay,
I will be quiet now, but.
okay, so, what's the turnaround time on the resubmit?
So the resubmission will go in on Monday. And hopefully we'll hear back from the town fairly quickly. Hopefully, they had a pretty extensive list of comments, pretty much all minor, but we have addressed all of them, and we have redesigned this so that we're showing above grade vaults so that we'll keep our equipment out of the groundwater or the water in that area. We dug on the other side of the roadway to see if we had the same issue over there, and it was the same thing. We dug a test pit, and after rainfall, that test pit filled up with water. So obviously we had it on both sides of the roadway. So we decided to pivot and go with above grade vaults. So it's going to be submitted on Monday back to the health department, and then hopefully they'll approve it pretty quickly.
Okay, don't go forward yet. Okay, sorry, I guess I can't let this go yet.
Yeah, not sure, it could be the water table, if you go down below, like a foot below the ground, year round,
If you go.
it could just be the
We
water
also
table.
heard where people thought certain connections were, and lo and behold, our drawings are wrong, and we don't know where things are located, people outside of our school district. So I'm concerned that that may be the cause of that as well. Okay, but I also just want to go back to the very beginning, Mr. Seba, you were talking about the inquiry responses were sent to our legal counsel. Did you send everything that was requested, or are we still waiting on more information?
No, I believe everything was sent back to your council, and I believe it was forwarded over to the Stone Oaks board or their attorney, their counsel.
That's right? Okay, no, sorry, it's just, okay, I misunderstood. I thought we were waiting on a couple other pieces, but okay.
No.
Okay.
And then the only other thing is that we did a wet tap over there, and that wet tap is now complete on the fire hydrant line. So that's good news. And I didn't know if Savin, Dean, you wanted to jump in and give us a construction update?
Well, I think the only thing I would add, and I'm certain it's been observed, is that the contractor has cleaned up along the road. He got the weather on his side, reestablished the rocks, hydromulched, just to try to clean up the area. And yeah, it's you covered it well, Mr. Seba. Thank you.
Okay, I do want to follow up on that. So when you say hydromulch, is that not natural green coloring that I saw along the side? And can you explain what that is? And then I have another question after that.
Sure. So basically what it is they have a tank in which they add it's like a paper pulp material along with the seeds and some fertilizer. It mixes up and the seeds are actually just about ready to germinate when they hit the ground. It becomes a ground cover, it holds things in place, and typically we see in just a couple of weeks the grass is pushing through. But that's what hydromulch. Fred probably has a more technical way to describe it, but that's the way the layman, myself, would say it.
So it's a one and done, or will they have to come through and do another layer?
No, it's actually it's a good process. It like I said, it creates a ground cover. It actually can help hold moisture for the seedlings, and the grass just grows on through it and thickens up right in place.
Before, I'm gonna drill down a little. So before that was laid down, I was, you've heard me say at almost every meeting, I grow concerned. I continue seeing litter, which is from lunches or whatever. Yes, multiple people access our campus, but I also see construction litter. Was the ground raked up, or is it like a combination of iron floor and the asphalt that got torn up by the heavy trucks, and then some of the dirt that was there, and that was all just sprayed over, or did they go through and prep the ground, the soil?
Yeah,
Before
I
they
was here for
spray it.
Saturday, I saw them raking and prepping.
Okay,
This last weekend, I did see the guys out there raking before. There was no garbage or anything, but
okay, well,
I
I
just see them.
I walked the campus today, and I
Yeah.
drove in now, and I see like.
yeah,
stuff there that-
they did prep it.
Okay, so that part I didn't know, but then I'm also just gonna complain about, hey, we're eating our lunch and then we're just gonna put our Doritos bag here and our soda cups over here, and it's all over the place. And I'm incredibly frustrated. I know many people use our campus, so I know it may be multiple groups, but it's definitely a market uptick with all the work that's going on. So I just would appreciate if our construction managers on all of our projects could ensure that people are cleaning up after themselves as far as their personal litter, as well as the construction litter. Okay, I think.
I'm tempted to have us go to the slideshow so that you can point things out.
I took more pictures today.
Okay, great. Could you start? Let's go through the slides and you can chime in if you see something.
The pictures?
Yeah, just go picture walk from the beginning to the end. Okay, that's the battery energy storage system.
We'll skip through until.
Skip through, we're trying to get to, yeah. Try to get Woodlands. Here we go. Okay, what are we looking at?
That was where they were doing,
Dean.
that's the other side of the roadway where they were doing the wet.
That
tap.
is where the wet tap is.
Yeah.
Okay, and there's a crane obviously holding on to the, what's the red piece?
The valve.
Okay. And they're priming
That's the
something,
valve.
okay?
Wow,
And you see,
so much bigger than I.
right, and then the water starts coming up. That's the next day. And there, water.
That's pretty much the water table right there.
And still today.
And it did go down a little bit over the last week or so, but that's pretty much where it stays, I would say, most of the year.
And this,
That's the vaults that we were talking about, where the valves and all the chemicals were supposed to store it, but it's under 2 feet of water.
so you're gonna put the hot boxes on, right there on top and just extend the pipes up?
I believe that's what they're, yes.
Is this, forgive me, is this on top of, I believe, the old Verizon?
No, it's a different area. It's in that vicinity. It's in that vicinity. It's about 25 feet away though.
Okay, so it's nothing that will need to be dug up later?
No.
Because, okay.
Okay, and is the cost minimal, or is there something we need to worry about?
We haven't gotten a cost yet from the contractor. We're waiting for a health department approval before we go get a final cost from them, but I believe we still have $90,000 worth of allowance money on this job, and it will be less than half of that, I think. So we still should be in very good shape.
Okay, and When does the temporary fire permit run out for the high school?
End of May. Without an extension.
So will we need an extension?
The permit from where?
For the certificate of occupancy, we received a 6-month temporary permit. That expires at the end of May.
Okay, so we can file with SED and request an extension on that.
Great. Just make sure that's the last picture.
Yes.
There,
SED.
you can see the pipes. Okay. And that's an establishing job. Okay, we can come back. Okay, back to the report. Okay. Anything else on water main? Go ahead.
No, nothing on our end. Okay, next up is the middle school, high school running track. That project is on hold until May 2026, when the weather warms up. We need appropriate weather conditions in order to be able to install the surface.
Is our clock started
Again,
by?
Dean, I don't know if you want to jump in and update anything on that.
So waiting.
Yeah, Trustee Valen, did you have a question before I start?
Yeah, I just wanted to know if our minute, if our clock had started as far as being above the minimum temps
No,
yet,
we
or
had-
we still haven't
we had
got the
freezing-
day 1.
Temperature.
Yeah, we're not getting those yet.
Not yet.
But just to make it clear to everyone who may not have watched the last 12 or 14 or 18 months of these meetings.
Okay.
All right. So we understood that we need to have temperatures 50 degrees and higher through the 24-hour period preceding the installation and through the installation. So we need consistent. It's the temperatures that have been established in our area to begin in May. And so that's what the contractor is looking at. The contractor did come on site last week. He did a check. They call it planarity, just to see that it's a consistent plane that they're going to be putting the surface on. If there was any serious irregularities, I know that was one of our concerns. Everybody was asking, is the winter going to create problems? So the answer is it's been checked out, and anything that they have to repair is minor. They're not calling back DeRosa to do anything. It's just going to be the typical work they do to prep to put a surface on the track, and then prior to striping it. So yeah, that's in place, and we'll have a date likely at the next month's meeting. We might even either be started or know when they're going to start.
Okay. Questions there?
So June 15th is our target ceremony,
Yeah.
right?
Right. We're cutting June 15th. Okay. You can see.
Okay, the energy performance contract was originally scheduled to be completed in March. Unfortunately, due to the weather and all of the snow that we had up there, they were not able to get in and install the switchgear. You saw in one of the previous photos where they're actually pulling the wire now and getting the gear ready. Their completion date is now scheduled for the end of May. That is the last energy conservation measure to be done. Everything else has been done for a while now. And we've just been waiting for the switchgear to come in because it was a long lead item. And for the ground to not have snow on it. So now that we have both of those things, they're back there working, and they hope to be completed with the entire project at the end of May.
Okay.
The roof replacement at Highview, they have been working on that project. I think we're estimating about.
Excuse me,
50%
David, I
complete.
have my hand up about
Sorry.
the performance contract. My understanding from the previous presentation that for the first year, we're paying against that bond, and we don't see that until the second year, we get the payment of the bond. Now, this delay in finishing the project, is it anticipated to have any significant impact on that, on the delay? And when we start gaining credit for the efficiency contract?
So I'm not sure how your borrowing was scheduled. Most times, school districts don't start paying back until the project is closed out.
Mhm.
All of the other work, all of the lighting, the controls, all of the other equipment has all been in place for some of it as much as a year. So you are getting the savings on all of that. And the only thing you're not gaining savings on at this point is the photovoltaics, the solar portion of it. But typically, school districts don't start paying back until the project is closed out. So at that point, you will have accrued the savings from all of the other energy conservation measures. And as soon as the project gets closed out, you'll start to realize the savings on the photovoltaics as well.
Thank you.
Do you have anything that,
The only thing I want to say is, I think what Mr. Simon is referring to is in our energy performance contract, there is a clause that if we don't receive the savings that we were projected to save, that we would be made whole by the vendor. What is delayed in the completion of the project is that the 1 year target measurement period doesn't start until the project is finished. So the clock for the 1 year measurement period will not start now until the end of May. We originally thought it was going to be starting, I believe, in January. So there is a delay there. Obviously, the farther out the project is pushed, our 1 year measurement period is delayed to start.
Thank you for that clarification. Thank you. You expressed that more clearly than I did.
okay? Other questions? All right, roof replacement, you were on roof replacement.
So roof replacement at Highview, the project is about halfway done at this point. Everything seems to be going well. Dean, I don't know if you want to jump in, or Stu, and give us an update on that.
Yeah, the contractor is moving well. He's working with the weather conditions, and he is making good progress over the weekends and off hours.
Yeah, that covers it well. Thanks, Stu.
Well,
So what's the estimated time to be done with that project?
They're anticipating being done prior to the summer, at which time they are scheduled to roll over to the roof over at Jackson, which is going to be a summer install.
Fred, it's two different contractors on that, so
Right, sorry. So this is completed to be done, or scheduled to be done prior to the summer. That's what the contractor's trying to do. You're right, Stu. There's a
Correct.
separate contractor coming on. That Jackson roof was always scheduled for the summer.
So if the contractor's working in the off hours, the evening and the weekends, what was the reason that we couldn't open the building for use during the day?
You are using the building during the day.
I'm not talking about Highview, I'm talking about Jackson in the summer.
Oh. Talking
keep
about
in mind that
school and summer programs?
the original plan for the roofing work at the direction of the district was to have it done over the summer, as opposed to doing it over the winter, or during the spring rather. And then we offered the contractor the ability at the beginning of the contract to work holidays and other days at the request of the district. And Barrett Roofing opted to do that rather than to have the work involve their summer when most work is being done. So since the work has started, the original contract was awarded for summer work. We're expediting it. And the district has been aware that the work will be done hopefully before the end of the school semester or very close to the beginning of July.
Okay, Stu, I want to pivot to the Jackson roof, because that's where my question is. With the Jackson roof, since the Highview roofers can work on the evenings, off hours, and weekends, which is what you said, why can't the Jackson roofers work evening, off hours, and weekends as well?
The Jackson roofer was intending to do the work in the summer. That worked with their schedule. That was what the contract required of them. They are currently having some difficulties meeting the insurance requirements, and we're working with them to see what alternatives and a way to get things moving for them. But they are working within the time frame of their contract. Their submittals are in place. We have bonds, we have and documents for them. The only thing that we're waiting for on submittals, I believe, is the skylights. And other than that, we're moving forward to being able to do the work over the summer. Keep in mind that Jackson is a larger roof area than is being done presently at Highview, because one section of Highview was done probably 3 years ago, over the kindergarten area, if I'm correct, Dennis. And so it's a much smaller roof. So it's the kind of thing that roofing companies can come in and take care of without having affecting a large area.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that info. So the Jackson roofers can or cannot, with all of the issues they have right now, if those things get ironed out, can they work evenings, off hours, and weekends? Or no, they have to work during the day?
At the present time, they're not committing to that. We did ask them for schedules for working beforehand. They did give us a preliminary schedule, which included work before the summer, but obviously we didn't, they couldn't do it because of their insurance situation.
In the summer, can they work evening, off hours, and weekends during the summer?
They have a time commitment on the job, so they're going to do what needs to be done to make the job completed before the August date that's in their contract.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Can I ask for clarification, please? Because I'm confused. Are we saying that at Jackson, they are planning to work nights and weekends, or are they going to be working during the day also?
Their game
No,
plan
at
is
Jackson, they're
work
going to
during
be
the day.
working during the day,
Yeah.
During the summer?
during
Yeah.
the summer.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
The issue of insurance, to me, that's a critical issue. If for whatever reason they can't get the proper insurance, the job is not going to start. So I think that's a significant possible hurdle that we have to pay attention to.
Yeah, and we have been paying attention to it, and on all projects for Greenburgh, we specifically deal with the insurance requirements that are out there. Keep in mind that with the nicer requirements, it's becoming harder for contractors to obtain insurance. It's more costly for contractors to obtain insurance. Part of the situation is that the school districts are also, as contractors are paying for this higher insurance, it's also reflected in some of the costs on the job and bid numbers. But we are working with the contractor. We're looking for ways that would benefit the district. But we don't have anything hard and fast yet, so we can't offer it out, and especially not on a public situation until we speak to all parties, including
So,
your attorneys.
can someone answer how did they get the bid if they did not have the insurance when that's part of our RFP?
Because during the time of our interview, after the bids were received, they told us that they were able to get the insurance. So that's why we awarded them the project. And now they're having difficulty matching the insurance requirements.
So at the time they did not actually have the proper coverage, but they said they would get the proper coverage.
They said they had it.
No, they said they would have it before the work started.
But they,
So-
on the bids, don't they tick the boxes when they're completing the bid spec paperwork? The RFP paperwork saying, yes, we have it?
Yes,
I'm just trying to understand the process in general, not particular people.
yes,
Okay.
that's a question on the bid proposal form, and they checked the box, yes, that they had it. When we interviewed them to review the scope, to make sure that they understood the scope of the job and that they were comfortable with their pricing and the work in the project, we asked them that question again, and they said, yes, they would be able to provide the insurance.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, again,
Go ahead.
perhaps I'm not that familiar with your bidding process, but one thing to consider at the time that you're awarding the contract, they have to produce the insurance. So you don't get in this situation. I mean, that's something to consider in the future. And what is the drawback? What is the downside of putting that in a contract that you have to produce the insurance policy at the time you awarded the contract? What's the downside for doing that?
Because there's a cost to the contractor to get that insurance prior to, and they don't want to spend that money until they've been awarded the project. So typically, they get their insurance and bonding after the contract has been awarded, and then they provide that documentation to us. They told us they were familiar with it. They told us that they had provided it on previous projects. They told us it wasn't a problem, which is the reason that we awarded the project to them, but now we're having some difficulties.
Yeah. Well, one of the options you could do on contract, you could make, you're getting the contract pending A, B, and C. So they know that they have the contract, but they have X number of days or weeks, whatever you might seem appropriate, to produce the actual document, to guarantee that they will not officially get the contract unless they produce the policy. But you give them enough time to do it. So that's a consideration.
Mr. Simon, you also have to realize that the district is responsible or pays the insurance cost. There's a specific line item on your pay applications which refer to the insurance. If the insurance costs go up because they're paying for insurance for 6 months before they have to do the work, then the cost to the district will go up as well. So I understand your situation and your concern. I think it's, a positive way to handle it. And in most cases, the contractors who bid public work are aware of it and live up to the situation. This is one case where a contractor who has done public work previously, and we're aware of their work, has an issue because they were waiting for their insurances to renew in April.
Okay. Okay, I can understand that, but this is something that I would suggest the board look at that very closely. The cost benefit analysis of doing that in terms of having the project delayed versus the cost, and at least consider that option when awarding But yes, that's not something for us to decide. But I just raised the issue as something the board should at least consider. Regarding your comments, right?
And it is a requirement in the contract that you guys sign with the contractor, that they provide the proper insurance.
Yeah, nicer NYSER requires us to have that.
So the NYSER is your insurance company, and part of the confusion, I think, on the contractor's end is that NYSER, over the past year or two, has been changing their insurance requirements and increasing them fairly regularly. And some of these contractors just haven't caught up to that yet. I think that's why this contractor was waiting till they renewed their insurance in April in order to be able to provide what was called for in the contract. But again, when we asked them several times, they said, yes, we will provide that insurance. We understand it.
Okay. Go ahead.
Woodland Science Lab renovations. So contracts for most of the job were sent out at the end of March. We had to rebid the plumbing, and those bids were opened on the 24th, March 24th. And that bid on the plumbing is scheduled to be awarded at the April 21st board meeting. We had sent a letter of recommendation to the board, to the district at the end of March. The construction kickoff meeting is going to be scheduled by the CM. In this case, that's the Palumbo Group, later this month. Half of the science rooms, as you remember, are being done this year, and the other half of the science rooms are scheduled to be done in 2027.
Do we have any report from the Palumbo Group?
Mike, you're muted. Still can't hear you.
Can you show us?
Yeah, show us the.
Sorry, 1 second.
Unmute him.
I can, yeah.
Mike, right?
Yep, yeah.
I can ask him to unmute. I think he quit. He might be trying
He's
to
probably gonna go out and come back.
adjust his settings, yeah. Let me see if still.
Is that all the people?
I believe this is him.
Yeah. There he is, yeah.
Okay, how about now? We better?
There you go. We can hear you.
Well, thanks. Yeah, talk about getting off to the right foot, on the right foot. Thanks again. We appreciate the trust that you've put in us to manage this project. We're very excited to be at this stage. Our contract kickoff meeting, we have slated for anywhere between the 23rd and the 30th of April. We want to take a look at the plumbing contract to make sure that the plumber that was successful bidder understands everything, and we can produce insurances and other front end documents, SOVs, and schedules of submittal schedules and that type of thing right away. We want to. We've already reached the other primes to start that paperwork. And to the subject, all of the contractors have demonstrated that they can meet the insurance requirements. Fortunately, between BBS and the Palumbo Group, we have experience with all of the contractors, and they have successfully produced the insurance for other projects. But just a little nuance, the way things are now, it's kind of a catch-22, where the contractors don't produce insurance until they have the contract. It's kind of an odd thing, but the contract is specific about them having to produce the insurance. Then it's up to us to push them from the minute they're selected, and that's what we do. And a very small percentage of the contractors give us this kind of trouble.
So what, in terms of preparation, does the science department have to do?
Well, we'll come up with a backup plan and a protection plan that we'll submit. in this forum or in others. And basically what we'll need to do is to pack the rooms, the subject rooms that are going to be under renovation. Stu and I also spoke about the possibility of the rooms underneath as well, just to make sure that there's no dust that comes from construction above. So we're putting that together now, but it will involve a pack out.
And is there asbestos removal?
There is, yes.
Yes.
What's the timeline? What's the timeline for that? Because when will people be in the buildings for those? Yeah.
The timeline for the asbestos or the pack out? Sorry, I
Yeah.
missed the answer.
Go ahead. Say.
Sorry, yes, the timeline for the asbestos removal.
Not in every project we schedule, we put the asbestos at the front. However, there is some pre-abatement demo that we need to do in order to properly access the asbestos. So we're probably looking for a front end 1 week of that demo, maybe less time. But by the time we put up the protection and everything, it usually takes about a week. And the asbestos were scheduled for approximately 2 weeks.
So that sounds like by the end of July, that phase would be done.
Yes, and more than likely earlier, but that's a good mark.
Okay, because I thought we were going to try to work or sometime in June, but none of that can be done while we're here.
Right.
They
That's
do plan on doing the abatement, after hours when there's nobody,
That can be done after hours?
yeah, when there's nobody in this section of the building. That's what the discussions with
In
that.
this section of the building, including like the gym
Well,
area?
that would be blocked off. It's considered a separate area. I have to speak with the environment consultant.
Just because if it's, sorry, I'm thinking out loud, because of that whole area will need to be, we'll also have to put a public notice about the public members of the public who come to use the gym facilities after hours. Thinking,
Yep.
okay.
We did have a whole meeting with Palumbo and BBS, and they went through their process of sealing off the area. And
Removing the materials.
Palumbo
after
could
hours
really
when
speak
there's
about it. They
nobody-
explained it very well.
But if there's people, when we say removing the materials, there's some transference to the outside world. And if we have people in the tennis courts or whatever, I'm trying to figure out.
No, they said they double bag it. And does Palumbo want to speak about how the removal process?
Yeah, our plan is our plan is to take a section of the building and store the asbestos that's removed. It's double bagged, that's right, and the bags are rinsed before they're in storage. That storage area is also poly protected. So we'll have the storage in the building that the public won't have access to. It'll be behind all the barriers. And our plan is to then do those loadouts on Saturdays.
So
Right, as opposed to having
do we know where the loadout zone will
parking
be?
lot. Okay.
I'm sorry, I missed the question.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out the loadout route because Saturdays, but there may be people in the field, there may be people in the tennis courts. I'm trying to figure out which side the loadout will be. But that's for you guys to have a meeting about.
Yeah, logistically, there was some talk about having it on this side over here.
In the courtyard, and we're trying to restore. Okay, so we'll do more restorative work after.
Afterward.
Okay.
Okay, good. All right, we'll hear from you in about a month and we'll know more.
You'll know a lot more, yeah.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Energy performance contract phase 2, roof solar.
Today I received the draft RFP from BBS and it's been forwarded to legal for review.
The timeline we had originally discussed was trying to get this out on the street somewhere around mid-April. So I think we're still hopefully on target for that. We're going to leave it out on the street for 6 weeks. It's not a huge job. It's just solar at two buildings, Woodlands and Jackson. Those are the only two that are good candidates where we have done recent roofing. So that's the way the RFP has been set up. Again, time is of the essence here because the work has to be completed and given a permit to operate from the utility company by December 31st, 2027, in order for us to qualify for the Inflation Reduction Act ITC money. So we want to keep this project moving as quickly as we can so that the contractor has as much time as possible in order to complete that work and then get the utility in to sign off on it.
And so the board, so it'll be back from posting, you'll come up with who the potential award person is, and the board will be able to look at it and decide if they want to go forward. Yeah, okay, good.
I have a question.
Sir, sorry to interrupt.
If we miss that rebate deadline of December 31st, 2027, what type of funds are we talking about?
It's approximately 40% of the solar cost to the project, so it's a substantial amount of money.
Okay.
But as long as we hit our proper timelines and sign contracts early enough, the contractor is going to have to guarantee that's tax rebate. So if for some reason the contractor can't hit their dates, then the contractor would have to give the district that money.
Okay. If they have insurance to cover it. Okay. But I mean, that's something that we need to stay on top of because that's a lot of money and we just cannot afford to miss that date. Okay. Thank you.
The one thing I was gonna mention, I guess is a question for BBS. I'm concerned that we may not meet the mid-April advertising only because our attorney who normally would review those RFPs, I'm told is on vacation. So if we were a week behind, are we still on target?
I would say yes, we're still on target, but obviously, the sooner we can get this out on the street, the better. So, but it has to be May. That's okay. It'll be May. That's not a problem.
Understood. We're just at we have to wait for them to respond.
Right. It is the same RFP that we did for the last energy performance contract, so they should be familiar with it. Obviously, there's things removed because we're not looking at boilers, we're not looking at controls, we're not looking at any of that. The only thing we're looking at is solar panels on roofs of two buildings. So it's actually the same RFP, but it's simplified in order to show the proposed work scope.
John, do you know when the attorney is returning?
I'm not sure if he was gonna be out for a week or two and how long he's already been out. So I don't really want to quote a date, but I'm hoping that we hear soon.
Okay, thank you.
Firm who can do everything, is that the way this works with?
I guess so.
Okay. Yep. Okay, I think we have one more project. Yeah.
Yep, no, I wanted Mr. Johnson to scroll down
Yeah.
a teeny bit.
There's one more project there. Oops, there you go.
So the last project is the bus electrification study. We had sent a revised proposal to the district back in February. 75% of the cost of that study gets paid for by NYSERDA. So the district is only responsible for 25% of that cost. So right now it's on hold until we get notice back from the district to proceed ahead.
That's
And you
correct.
want to repeat yes.
At this point, we wouldn't be looking to do it this school year. At the earliest, it would be next school year, and obviously that depends on how things end up going.
Legislatively.
Legislatively, yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, so I believe we are through with the major projects. Which brings us to Kelly Verdina. I think we have, well, minor projects to do, but most of that. Thank you very much, gentlemen. If you want to stay on, you're welcome, but we're moving on to other things.
Thank you and have a nice evening.
Have a nice evening, everybody.
Thank you. Nice meeting everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, Lee.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Okay, we have our Director of Technology.
Thank you, everybody, and good night. I just wanted to say that I left Miss
What?
Mears an email.
Sorry, we're not done. We're not done with
We're
the
not
meeting.
done with the meeting. We're just done with the architects and
Oh.
construction engineers. There's planning, future projects, and there's the status of current projects. So we're moving on to planning future projects. So go ahead.
Luke, you use the clicker, I'm gonna go off my screen.
Sure.
Okay, so we've talked about it some in our committee for the instructional technology plan, some in our technology committee meetings. I have this titled Secure, Inclusive, Inspired because it encapsulates the vision of the technology department in collaboration with the Department of Teaching and Learning and also a component with facilities. So it is a district-wide vision and I will share it. Go ahead. Okay. So prospective projects, we have reimagined innovative spaces, one being the innovation lab that we are sitting in currently, the other being the library portion. And then I also included the computer science classrooms, and they'll be to varying degrees. The other projects that are prospects are the door access control, which some of you have heard us discuss previously, which would also include a lockdown system. Next would be a guest management system, which would be replacing Raptor. And then VoIP replacement system, which is our current phone system, which is going to be end of life in 2029, which I'll get more into. Yes, ma'am.
Can you just clarify which of this is district-wide and which of this is building specific? Or am I throwing a wrench into your?
No, all good. The innovative spaces, while it is in Woodlands Middle High School, the way I envision it and how we've discussed it is that it also would impact the community and events, but predominantly the students, staff, and administration in this building. The same with the library and the computer science classrooms. Door access would be district-wide, lockdown system district-wide, guest management system, and VoIP replacement would also be district.
Thank you.
So our vision for innovative spaces, transforming our underutilized area into a high energy destination where research meets creation. I would love to blend the library with an active innovation space. The goal is to build a launchpad where students transition from consuming information to actively creating. This next slide encompasses the student input that we received during our last technology committee meeting. So really neat to meet with them. You both were able to hear from them as well. Luke, you were there. Really their vision aligns with what we've kind of been talking about throughout the year. So really nice to hear. So just running through it, they would love a vibrant atmosphere. They spoke about the current colors and what they would like to see happen. So they want it to be colorful. This is their language. So colorful, popping, and energy engaging activities that help all students interact and feel a sense of belonging. Flexible seating, bean bags, and adaptable furniture that allows students to choose how they work. Purposeful zoning, separate seating areas dedicated to different types of activities. They spoke about sometimes wanting this to be one big area, but also having the different break-off rooms. Collaborative culture, an environment that is open to opportunities and encourages teamwork. Tech and gaming focus. They would love opportunities for coding, gaming, and year-round hour of code expansion activities. They really spoke about not just gaming, but the creation of or being able to create apps through coding. Content generation, a space where they can transition to creating their own content, including music creation, which I thought that was pretty neat. And then the other aspect of music is sensory support, background music playing to calm students, engage thinking, and support the learning process. But I will say the overall message was that they really want to have a sense of belonging, and they do not feel like they have that currently. Here we have our current space. I refer to it as untapped potential. So we have an exciting opportunity to evolve this functional area into a dynamic environment, adding flexible seating and tools that can fully activate the creativity of all students and encourage collaboration. And with the help of AI, and I'll say, Luke and I went around, we took photos of the space the way it is now, kind of put through our vision. And this is one of the photos that came out with AI. What you can see is that color changes a lot. So simple paint and furniture really makes a huge difference. We put this one first because of the vibrant colors, which really, adheres to what the students were requesting. Here we have different types of outlets hanging from the ceiling so that you're not tripping over it on the floor. And while there might be a different execution of how furniture is, I just wanted everyone to get across, the flexible seating, different areas where they can kind of pull up a chair to a different table, have, couches and a collaborative feel where they can go, where they feel comfortable and work with different groups. So that's one. And then we have the other conceptual, less color, but still same idea. The one to the right shows different tables, and those can break apart. Mm-hmm. We've even had some conversations where it's like, well, there's still tables, but the ability to break them apart and have students being able to move into different sections, creating larger groups or smaller groups as necessary is really fabulous for them. And then the one on the left is again just showing a learning circle in a very comfortable area. And so our thought is that it would be something in between. We've also talked about how, yes, this can get very expensive, but we want to do it in a budget-friendly, fiscally responsible way. And so this is kind of our mock-up to start. We also have, you can go to the next one, the breakdown of the library space. And this is feedback from the students as well. You can see that it's set up a little differently, still encompassing the books, bright colors. But really they said that they want a diverse selection. They want to have access to multiple books and genres, high interest topics. They mentioned a couple times origami. So I said books on topics that directly interest them. An inviting environment, create a space where students want to come, read, and research. Digital literacy, learn about reliable sources and the ethical use of AI. And then research tools, exploring and answering the question, what databases can we use? So when we met with them, that's what they said. They felt like there were a lot of websites that were blocked, but then when we dug a little further, it was really that they did not know where to look for reliable sources or what current databases existed for them.
So, I know I was in the technology committee meeting that Aaron led and brought the students in and had them talk to us. I had a sense that it was like the resurgence of analog. So it's kind of like, yeah, we could have a record player an old-fashioned record player and everybody could listen to it. Mm-hmm. Okay. So books are like pre-digital technology, right? So I expected books to eventually sort of wane away. Is there a resurgence?
So for me, they want the ability to we know that the digital age exists, but there is always that tactile need. And so for me, and they're verbalizing, is that they want to be able to go and check out books for themselves. So we even talked about that too. having the ability to digitally check out a physical book. But just feeling again that it's a place where they can come, they belong, they're like, all right, this is the book of interest, they're able to self-select and check it out. So I think that it's a balance, it's a blend between digital and the physical.
And the other thing that I'm curious about is that I have the idea that some people will have projects that they want to work on, and perhaps they'll want to work on them on more than one day. So that means table space and some way of storing your project. Are there systems for that?
I can't say that we have a fully developed system now, but I have done that previously in other districts, and you figure it out. Part of what we've spoken about, and actually that came up with the students, is having them out on display. So you guys have gone through this with me for 3 years. I say it has to look messy, it has to look active. So even when students are working on the projects, having them out and displayed in a safe capacity where it's not getting ruined, but other students are able to see what they're engaging in, is always very impactful. And then we could figure out the space. Yes.
I like all the rendering, but one of the things that I found a major problem with media centers and libraries is sound. And, you know, saying you can do it economically is one thing, but I think if you're gonna put all this work in, you have to think about acoustics. And if you're gonna have 25 people working on project, we have nothing but cinder here and glass. So there has to be something probably in the budget for acoustical panels, better ceiling, maybe even a piece of area that's gonna be carpeted to dull the sound. I mean, you turn a record player on with cinder blocks, I can't tell you how that's gonna sound. So a lot of the places I've seen, especially in college areas and other high schools, tend to have areas that are pre-zoned for acoustic.
So we've spoken about this before, and this is definitely going to be a phased project. This would be, again, a portion where not only am I working at the building level and with teaching and learning, but with facilities. But I'm going to be very honest. My opinion and the opinion of a lot of other leaders and staff members is that I would rather hear active learning than be worried about the sound being quiet for the library. And the reason
I'm not talking quiet. I'm talking about reverberation.
So again, I think it's phases, right? So for me, I want to see learning taking place. I don't want to see students sitting in the library, not checking out books.
No,
So I think it's a phase.
talking.
No, I understand.
Because the idea when you have different people, I was just up at a college at a makerspace. And one of the things I found was they had everybody in the room, but when you're deadening the sound, you can still hear, it's just not distracting. And one of the things that I heard from other kids here was that it tends to be distracting because of all the cinder. And it's not a very expensive thing to do acoustical panel. But if you do it early before you paint, make sure you know what you're gonna be doing. That's something to think about beforehand, making the space, and then you can do whatever you want. But it's something that people keep forgetting and it becomes a void. But if you're gonna do all that, then, you know, putting the panels in strategic areas, get somebody in who knows sound.
Thank you for that feedback. I think trustee Allen wanted to say something.
Two things. One, maybe 1 or 2.5 things. One, sounds like the easy place to begin is painting. And I will assume this is being discussed hand in hand with the building leader and potentially students in the building as far as color choices, et cetera. Someone online, I think it was trustee Mayers, was encouraging us to remember our logo and our school colors as part of that, but I'm hoping that between the team of the building leader and students and even our art teachers, because then maybe there's an art mural project or an IB project that could be decorating the walls with all of these things in mind. I'll also point out that the whole keeping your workout, we just need to reference again our art teachers and like Bailey's Innovation Lab and Bailey's art room and the other art rooms in every building where they keep their work in places. So we have the model.
Yep.
That can be followed. And then lastly, Ms. Moore, and I'll address what you're saying, sounds to me like a great STEAM project to come up with acoustical things that could be made and added to the walls. I was looking at one actually yesterday that was made out of cardboard, basically. It sounds like a great student project that would be both experiential learning and potentially saving us money. That's all I have for now.
Quick question. So for those of us that are not currently at the high school, can you share how this space and the library is currently used? Briefly?
I'll take the heat. Right now, because the mansion is closed, it's where we usually have a lot of administrative meetings, a lot of professional development for our educators. Used to be over there, but the building's been closed for a while. So this houses a lot of that right now. So it's unfortunately not solely for use by students at this time.
Even the library part?
Libraries for students. So when meetings are happening, it's usually over here, which is one reason to get the mansion open. Think of that in a few minutes.
Also, to speak to, you know, using our colors and what we already have established. This was a limitation of AI. So essentially we're like vibrant coloring, but absolutely, you know.
I just want to make sure her comment.
Yeah, no, I know. I
Conversation,
see, so, I just wanted to address that, but yes, thank you. I appreciate the feedback.
I missed the IB art show, but I had a sense maybe that the students had seen, there was a setup in here. Okay, and I saw last year's, so it may be that what they're looking for, so I said, well, oh, colors, and they said oil paintings by us. Okay, so you're right on the mark from what the students said.
And they're coming from buildings where students have collaborated with artists by creating murals and things
Right.
in those buildings. So, you know, they're growing up learning and doing that.
And I've seen things
So-
done with carpet scraps.
Yep.
That, right, so
Yep.
so they basically you're quilting with
There's
carpet.
many different ways to hit sound, and I'm sure the students can explore all kinds of ways, potentially even in a curriculum.
Okay. Continue.
Okay. Sorry. So, bearing in mind what we just said, also did walkthroughs for the middle school and high school computer science classrooms. This is just again, giving an idea, so color scheme and everything like that, can come into play. But this was exciting for, Ms. Ware and Ms. Manny happened to not be there that day, but they're aware of what we're doing as well. So on the left, you can see the current state of the classroom. And this was already making progress. You know, we had the outlets that were on the floor removed already. But a little bit of paint, brightening up, and then these tables that I have in the image to the right, you can break apart into different groups. And the chairs being able to roll from place to place. Again, we've had discussions before as well, because the opinion of some is that it doesn't look that different. But for students, it really does feel vastly different. The other option is to also have, again, a smaller flexible seating area for students. So I just wanted to give a basic idea. This by no means is, you know, the mock-up of what we're going to use, but just for everyone to kind of see the vision a little bit. And then the next picture is the middle school computer science classroom. So on the left, feels very traditional, and you know, honestly, when I've been in before, it seems very isolating, independent work. So just switching up the seating arrangements a little bit, having a Chromebook cart available. I don't have it in here, but we talked about 3D printers, robotics, and different mechanisms that the students could use. We really incorporate that innovative piece. But you see, just this is giving an idea of what it could look like.
And acoustics. Was
It's like here, has a
the
carpet,
floor.
yeah. Right. So transitioning from our innovative spaces, talking about modernizing our district's aging facilities and technology infrastructure. Our goal is to create a safer, more connected, and highly innovative environment for every student and staff member. The plan addresses access and controls. So that's the door access control and the lockdown system, guest management system. No, that's in the way. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, and then our VoIP phone system replacement. So starting with the door access control and lockdown system. Our current system, which is premises, is aging and it will be end of life by the end of 2029 and it requires a full replacement. The upgraded system will be a modern integrated platform that includes panic buttons and a district-wide lockdown system, which would ensure that all staff can secure any entry point instantly. And I just wanted to clarify that does not mean that every single staff member has the ability to call a lockdown. When we were looking at these systems, there are very specific people that can have access to ensure that we are all safe and it's not in the wrong. And so I just have note the lockdown system is separate from the door access system, although they work in tandem. The priority would be the door access control, especially since it is approaching end of life currently. And then that would lead to the lockdown system.
Does that mean like just outside doors? Is that in like what?
So it would be phased. We would first start with the outside doors on all school buildings. And then you can speak more to this, but would move to the internal doors. We have some that already have badge access, but we would look, again, it's phased and it comes down to budget. If we would move towards classrooms in the future. For me, the safety point is ensuring that all the outside doors have the ability to be locked down if necessary. And that would start with the door access for all buildings. No question?
No, I just want to be sure we're not ever getting specific in this conversation.
No.
And the door access also speaks to our camera system, correct?
So
the pathway that we're looking, we are looking for a vendor that incorporates what we currently have, keeping in mind budget. Okay. Speaking about the guest management system, and currently, if we're going in order of priority, guest management would be phase 1, and then the student management piece would be phase 2, or almost like a wish list item in order of importance, if you will. So the guest management system, we currently use Raptor. Raptor does not speak to our other systems. So we also run into kind of some glitches sometimes, which is why we've been looking into other things. So again, not naming anything, but looking for a guest management system that would work on the same.
Try to eliminate some of the different platforms.
Right, so we would have the door access, cameras, and guest management being on one platform is the goal. So we want to consolidate the visitor management onto a single unified platform that connects directly to the camera system, basically what I just said, but staff can then verify, log, and monitor all guests in real time. And then the student management piece. I'm not going to say it's 100% necessary, except at the secondary level, because we have students that often go inside and outside. If we were doing it in order of priority, I would think that the student management piece at the secondary level would be priority. And then again, as a phased product in the other buildings as necessary. But this could be as simple as, and when I'm talking about phasing, coming into the building, they badge in. So then we have a record that they are in fact here. And it's not just based off of teacher taking attendance. Same thing when they leave.
Not look at me.
I know, like I'm trying to look at everybody.
I'm sitting here thinking, I'm gonna give you my badge.
I'm watching her, so I don't know.
I'm gonna give you my badge and you're gonna badge me in. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't.
So
I'm already thinking.
we know that things like that can happen, but I also am very familiar with districts that have implemented it. And I mean, I'm gonna say that's limited.
Just like I would still want teacher attendance, that's all.
No, it's not negating that. To me, it's another level of security. And attendance is a different topic. Okay, so we're not eliminating. But also, and I'm not even saying that for here, we've talked about this, but there are systems that they badge when they got on the school bus as well. So we have a record. And that helps with the lockdowns. Then you know what student is where for that. And it's not based on attendance. Anyway. And then just quickly, I'm sorry, I don't know why that line from not small, but we were talking about our VoIP system, which is approaching end of life, will be end of life by the end of 2029 as well. And so we're trying to get ahead of that, but bearing in mind that we do have 3 years. So we said that this will enable remote capability, so staff can field calls from any location. We said even on remote learning days. That does not mean that the expectation, because I have it on here, cell phones, they have the ability to, it becomes as though it's an app. So speaking just broadly, it's, if any of you are familiar with WebEx, when you're taking a meeting, that could be the way you're using VoIP Teams, same type of thing. So it's an application. So they could still use a desk phone, a smartphone, they can answer from the computer, they can even answer from the new line if they wanted to. So it's all connected. So really the goal here is just to ensure that we are safe, secure, our phones are up to speed, and we don't run into any issues when it is end of life our current system.
Can I ask a question? Is this, the PA system included in this?
So I took PA off of here.
Okay.
Just because, yes, I just didn't want there to be too many.
Okay. No,
Figured-
just because I
figured it-
remember hearing PA
Yes.
system and I was wondering if I was misunderstanding.
Nope, you got it.
Okay, thank you.
We actually had it until the last moment, but I figured we'd hit them up with that next year. So.
Okay.
I took it off. No, I took it off.
The PA's a couple, well, for me and you, a couple of years ago, might be 10 years ago though.
Less than 10.
Okay. Yeah, we
There-
did the
there've
PA system less than 10 years ago.
So I took it off.
And the VoIP,
Yeah.
didn't we just do something with VoIP like 2 years ago?
We
Or the
switched, we
small
switched
part.
vendors, right, it was a small piece.
Okay,
So we moved from one vendor to the other,
okay,
which has helped,
But that
immensely. Doesn't
that's
alleviate,
not-
unfortunately.
okay.
And then, thank you, Luke. These are just project cost projections. So innovation lab and renovations in the computer science classrooms. We have an estimate of 200,000. We've talked about that before. That's really us keeping the costs low, in-house. And what we can do with that. Also, we're not saying at one time. We included this in our instructional technology plan, which was really over the course of 3 years. So kind of bearing that in mind. And we're general here, but we said tools and technology. You know, everybody's familiar with a 3D printer, but it's all encompassing. So it could be devices, it could be robotics, but 50,000 for that. And then going on to the door access replacement. So that is for all the school buildings that we spoke about. That is $400.
400,000.
Imagine if it was.
Yeah.
It's $400,000. And then the lockdown system would be, I mean, we were a little too specific there, but around 211,000. And then the wireless locks for expansion of, that's all classrooms if we were to go there. Yeah, which is about 1.2 million.
That was involuntary, I apologize.
No, you're good. VoIP replacement, 250,000. Again, it's not all at once, but that would be what the cost would be to ensure we're up to date. Guest management replacement, 200,000. And then if we were to do a new student management system, 56,000. These are just rough numbers, but we wanted to give you estimates.
So sorry,
Yeah.
if that's the last one, if we could go back to it.
Yeah.
So the VoIP 2029 life cycle. That's the one that will die if it doesn't get done.
VoIP is not going to just die.
Okay.
The biggest
It'll be end of life and no longer.
end of
serviced
life,
by-
my concern is really the premises door access. Which is the 400,000. $400.
But I think she was asking about the
That's- sorry.
VoIP system.
But that's the rep, so without naming things again, that's the security.
Security for the card swipes.
She was asking what happens in 2029 to VoIP.
I mean, you can go in very briefly,
Yeah.
but we're not going to be without phones.
Yes.
Is the
I'm
truth.
trying to,
Yeah, I'll let him give.
So
But
when something is end of life,
the support
the
is.
support is gone. So if there's a problem,
Right.
there's gonna be no solution.
my Windows 10.
Exactly, yes. So that's, and like, so, and also if there's a vulnerability, It won't get
You won't
fixed.
get the security.
Which is where we are with premises right now. That's what it feels like. There's not.
Very much so, yes.
So, and
So the order of priorities according to end of life is that, I'm trying to see the slide, that original. Slide that has the breakdown. So slide 2, Luke, is really the order of importance as far as we have a chunk, right? The innovation space is not a security issue. So if you go from the door access control would be priority number 1. That's our current system, which is premises, which is end of life. Very limited to no support. So that is priority. Then secondary to that would be the lockdown system.
I'll put that number 3, because that's not something,
Would you put as number 2?
well, if you're saying VoIP is gonna die. They're tied for 2.
Okay, I will agree.
Ouchie.
I will agree with the tide for 2. Also, the lockdown system goes hand in hand with the door access, which is why I have it like that. And then, yes, the VoIP replacement. So really guest management should be.
Okay, and then because I peeked ahead in the agenda, I do feel the need to say, I've said this in other meetings, in our committee meeting, I said this in a board meeting when we were going over the budget presentation, so I feel the need to say now, my apologies, you know, I support as much as I can. But I am going to say, when it comes to things like paint and furniture in spaces, that those are usually done at a building or department level within the yearly annual budget. To me, that's not a facilities capital project, because furniture and paint is not capital projects. So it's still facilities, but it's not a capital project. So I just need to draw, for me, a distinction when we get to that part of the agenda as far as what it's saying, and when it comes to, and when it comes to.
Exclude things from the.
I'm pre-stating my thing, because if you want to say something in response, and I'm just gonna say, because we often hear, I want this, I want that from different, constituencies within the buildings, and I feel like that's a building team decision on who gets what when within their budget for the year. That's all I'm gonna say right now. I've said it before, so I'm not being hypocritical.
Okay, and counter to that.
Yes, please.
Some
No,
systems.
it should be a debate.
Some systems are
Discussion.
district wide.
Yes.
And therefore, leaving it to the buildings is a problem.
I think I should answer.
Yes, go ahead.
As far as the door access control, one of the other things we're talking about is maybe redoing the shells of the building, so i.e. new doors. How does that work with door access control? Do you want to do it at the same time? Does it not matter?
Well, something like for this, the door access control system, I had identified several doors that are difficult to open, rusted away. Rather than do the whole, listen, I would love to have the whole shelves of the buildings, new doors and windows everywhere, but realistically, as part of the door access control, maybe a couple doors at Jackson has a couple that you have to really push on, a couple here at this building. To additionally just change the door for now until the shelves are done. And those would be added to the card access control, the card swipe, but we don't have that ability right now, but if we're replacing the door frame, we retrofit it.
So it doesn't necessarily save us money to do them at the same time, or does it?
Well, it would just be a capital project, like tens of millions in order to do one building, it would be millions.
But I think
If you have
too-
$12 million for.
As opposed to maybe 60,000 to do 2 doors or 3 doors. Yeah.
But are you asked?
I'm just asking, yeah.
If you bulk buy the doors,
Yes.
is there any cost savings due to economies of scale, or because they have
No,
to be specific to a
It would have to
specific?
be specific to it.
You're not getting the economies of scale.
Correct.
Okay, is that what you were going?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out.
Yeah, typically if you were to order like a
How it
whole,
relates to door access.
elevation, like a whole side of a building or a whole building. You know, your cost for doors and windows are gonna be much cheaper because you're going out to bid and they're fabricating, 100 doors instead of 2.
The door access control, it doesn't matter if it's a new door or an older door.
No, you can just retrofit it, the wiring has to be added to the door anyway, to the
Okay.
frames, the jams.
But theoretically, are you saving time and money if you're getting a new door and you're doing all that at the same time?
Well, the wiring, would have to be done either way, but
Okay.
the door jams.
No.
I mean, say you have a door that doesn't open now,
Yeah.
you really can't wait for a capital project several years from now until the door shells are completed.
You wouldn't have to redo the jams though, that have the wiring.
Well, the wiring would probably still be in the header.
That's what I'm
Yeah, you would probably have to redo it if you're taking the whole side of the building down. I mean, otherwise, all the controls, you probably pull the wire up into the ceiling while you put the new door. And you don't have to run a new wire from the utility closet 100 or 200 feet away.
Okay.
So I mean, if you put a card swipe on that door right now, you'd have all the controls. Before they go do the demo, those wires are coming through the ceiling somewhere, they would just probably snip them close so that they could patch it, they wouldn't have to run something all the way back to the panel, which is 200 to 300 feet away sometimes.
That was very technical.
Yeah. But if you're changing the frames, you're gonna change the frames and the doors to match the rest of the building.
So it's not a big deal.
It's not,
If we get
in
this.
the grand scheme of things, if you're doing the whole building, you're doing the whole building, it's, we might just be adding one or two doors in the building until then.
If I understand your question, maybe just tell me if I'm wrong. Just wanting to make sure that if the door access controls were done, that we wouldn't be having to redo what you've already done, and now it's costing you twice as much, where the doors are concerned.
Oh, well, the readers and everything should be.
It's like when you dig up the street and you're.
Like say we had the
You stick-
security vestibule, before it was redone, we had the readers there, we had some, we had to add more, but we were able to use some of the old equipment.
Yeah.
Even though we're getting the new frames, you could still use a lot of the hardware, not all of it, but you try to salvage what you can. If it's new, it should be reusable, a lot of it.
Did that answer your question?
It did.
Okay, good, I'm glad.
Okay, other questions? From the, okay,
There's Walter might be.
I have a
Thank you.
question.
yes,
Okay, pardon my ignorance. I just want to double check. When you're saying door access control, you're talking about like when I approach the building and I push the button and someone buzzes me in?
The card swipe, your badge,
What about parents who don't have badges?
So that would be the guest portion. You would still get buzzed.
you would still get buzzed in, that's still the door activation part of it.
So it's all
Correct.
one piece as far as door security?
Yeah, if you have the electronic
Just-
mechanism, it
yeah.
works with either the card swipe or a manual push button from the security booth.
Does that help?
I guess. I don't know what the badge people do. I just want to make sure I'm understanding what we're talking about and what's wrong with it now? It's old?
So the current platform, the current door access is premises and it is end of life. So say there's an issue now and, staff go to badge in, I'll say by the admin parking lot. And then that goes down. The support and the ability to troubleshoot it is limited because it is end of life. So we have to replace our current door access. So we're just talking about in the grand scheme of things. I'm just giving that as an example. I mean, it happens to us even,
When we get
UPS,
a new worker, we
Yeah,
issue
they
someone a card and for one reason or something, the system won't acknowledge a new person once in a while. We've tried 2 or 3 different cards. And it's the firmware,
Yeah, it does not the ability to update anymore.
you can't update the software is what the problem is.
Okay, so the company is called, or the brand is called Premises? Premises.
Premises, yes.
And so is this the kind of thing where it would go out to bid again to get a new one, or it's a vendor and you go looking for, like, can you renew with them? Like, I don't know anything. I don't understand this, but
A vendor that has a different system. you would put it out to bid or, you know, you get, or look through BOCES through the COSAR and get some quotes for a system that is viable and up to date.
So
Okay.
because it's end of life, we are currently investigating door access that will work with our current system. So it's ideal to have a door access control that can work with our current camera system. So if there was any type of security issue, you're able to look at, you know, exit A and the camera affiliated with it, which currently, and there are some vendors that don't integrate. So because it's end of life and we already did that capital bond project with the cameras, we want to have a vendor and an access control that can integrate. So that's why we're kind of taking the steps we're taking now.
Okay, understood. And lockdown system is locking the door. Can you explain that? What's that?
Well, the lockdown system, there could be you could have like an app that would lock the system down. There's also some school districts have manual push buttons located in, say, maybe the superintendent's office, the principal's office, or somewhere. I've seen them in the hallways, but you probably want to keep them out of the way. That's the better idea in the schools. They have a little cover, and if there's something where you need to lock the building down, that's one way to do that rather than the PA or everything. You can
So to
just
clarify,
lock down buttons.
when you lock down a building, no matter the mechanism, are people unable to badge in?
With a lockdown system, they cannot badge.
So that's the difference. between
Unless
a lockdown
you're
system
authorized for,
and
you know, like
locked door.
certain administrators, police, yeah, the normal person wouldn't be able to access the doors.
In other words, you declare a lockdown and then.
Just to go a little further on that, because, and I'm saying this because I've raised this concern. If there was currently a lockdown and I pulled into the lot, I have no way of knowing we're in a lockdown. I can come and badge into the building.
Mm-hmm.
So with a lockdown system, I cannot get in, nor can anyone else. So it's that level of safety.
Okay, but isn't that called a lockout? I thought.
I'm giving an example because a lockdown is to protect those inside. But again, you're still not gonna want a staff member to walk into that, right? A lockout is locking everybody out on the outside. Currently, we don't have the ability to do either with that system. You know, it's called a lockdown system, but you could do a lockout, a lock in, you know, you could do all of the above.
And do it manually.
Mhm.
We do it manually. It's very clear.
People can leave the building, right? If they need to run out the building.
Procedures that I don't think we're gonna really go into right now as far as the nomenclature, because I don't think any of us have it memorized. You might.
Okay.
But systems and facilities portions of it, is it clear that what the difference for the door system is?
I think the other thing I took away from the presentation, with the lockdown system, I believe they spoke about panic buttons.
Right.
So like
Yeah, those are the panic
in
buttons.
like the
Principal's
principal's office, if they have a need to go into a lockdown very quickly, it can be done at the press of a button, which is timely. So that was the one thing that I thought was impressive, that a lot of times in an emergency situation, you don't have a whole lot of time. And this way, the building leader will have an immediate access point where they can activate the lockdown and all the doors lock.
Okay,
Mr.
other
Simon.
questions? Mr. Simon, did you have a question?
Yes, I did. In terms of the system, are we talking about one particular system that any vendor can supply? Or are we talking about the technology that various vendors have the technology, and then we are bidding on a standard that that anybody could any qualified bidder can bid on, versus a single technology that only one vendor can supply.
The needs are determined, right? The specs are
Yes.
determined, and then depending on what's out there, but I think the scope, I should not be answering. I think the dollar amount of the project, it determines what the rules we have to follow, and I think it's high enough where it would have to go to
Well,
be
yes,
bid,
or you can go through a cooperative,
which does the bidding for us.
which
So-
already did the bidding,
Right.
and we would go with one of their
But the
vendors.
first step would be identifying the specific needs.
Yeah, I mean, the primary specs, correct me if I'm wrong, is that we would be looking for a product that works with what we currently have.
And one platform. It's
One
like-
platform
One
to try to
platform, it could be
integrate
a couple of different
everything.
vendors with the same
Yeah, I
platform
mean, that's just part of the
to
specs.
try to eliminate some of the different systems.
Okay,
No.
Megan,
So I think I have two questions. First, is any of this aidable through BOCES since it's like a software system?
Yes.
Okay. And second, then, as far as the lockdown system and the door access control go, are there vendors where it really is one system, right? Because both handle door access just from different ways. So is there one vendor that does both the door access control and the lockdown system together?
Yes.
There are multiple vendors that have different access controls, but the ones that we are looking at, yes, would have one system that would integrate with what we currently have.
But so we really only need to use one vendor for both the door access control system and a lockdown system.
Well, again, that would be a procurement thing, so we can't really
Can't
speak
speak to
about that.
1, 2,
Okay.
6.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Other questions? Okay, so we have this giant list of possible projects, and depending upon when, how expensive they are out of pocket, we may be talking about, things that don't happen for a couple of years, whereas in other cases, if the funding's here, then you start more quickly. But we're gonna have a discussion as to whether this belongs in in our current list. And thank you very much.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, Dennis, can you run us through smaller projects, please?
Smaller projects, okay, we're gonna start, at the main building here.
Yeah.
The water tower behind the fence, needed an access space closed off. Fencing, for this area has been, installed and fabricated. I believe you have some pictures up there, we'll see the pictures
Yes,
afterwards.
we'll go through it all and we'll run through the pictures.
Leah Jackson, additional trees have been, trimmed in preparation for the new roof installation. New reach and freezer has been installed in the kitchen. We repaired a broken window and an air conditioner in classroom over at LF Jackson. And the parking lot expansion is still on there.
Sorry, I'm not even gonna ask. The reach and freezer, did that come from the cafeteria equipment fund or elsewhere?
No, it came from cafeteria equipment fund.
Cafeteria equipment fund, yes.
Good.
Let's see, Highview Elementary, we replaced glass on the door in one of the classrooms. The gate for van access on the back driveway was damaged during a book fair delivery. We're working with the insurance company trying to get that repaired. And the west side of the roofing is being replaced. We discussed that in the capital projects. RJ Bailey, the auditorium decorative plaster is still being removed as time permits. We did paint the kitchen floor in the kitchen area. And we repaired some tiles above the serving area and the kitchen area of Bailey also. See, Woodlands. We talked about the track is still under construction. We're waiting.
Right,
Yeah.
I'm catching up. Weren't there some tile issues in the Bailey kitchen, or am I misremembering?
Repaired tiles above the serving area. There was cracks, yeah, there was cracks in the floor. A couple weeks ago, my maintenance mechanics, repaired the cracks.
Okay,
And then the following weekend, they, epoxy painted the floor.
okay, so they repaired, because there were
And last-
two trip.
Yeah, that was done in-house.
Last month's
Okay.
thing said that they repaired the floor,
Okay,
and this
didn't
month's
remember.
thing said we had painted.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
okay. You're done.
Let's see, so we talked about the track. We're waiting for the weather to become more favorable. The Eller Memorial Field. The ribbon cutting is now scheduled for the 15th. Auditorium stage laying and rigging project is substantially completed. There was 2 punch list items that should be completed on April 23rd.
Stop.
Yes, sir.
Two things. Track, I meant to ask earlier, remind me, it's the old fence is going back in. Is that, it is, there's no new fencing in the project scope. So the old fence is what's gonna go back in around the track?
There is new fencing around the track.
It is new fence.
Correct.
New fence with the zigzag entry or?
No zigzag.
No
entry.
zigzag entry, that was the part that was, okay.
Yes. But there is a new fence,
Okay.
4 foot high, I believe, around the perimeter of the track.
So I remember
pre-painted
trying to
black.
figure out, can we
Okay.
get some donated or not?
Mhm.
Okay, and then you just said the auditorium lighting. With the existing lighting, it's over the audience in that recessed,
Mhm.
I don't know the words. Can we redirect that to be down towards the pit? Where the chorus and jazz band go?
There are extensions on the light that came in that we have to install
Yeah, not the new lights. I'm talking about the ones that are up in the,
in the catwalk.
yeah, I don't know the, you know where I'm talking
I
about.
believe some of those can
On
be-
stage, looking at the audience, there's a row of lights
The
out
bar
there.
up top, yeah, those
Yeah.
should be able to be adjusted.
If we can adjust those to be down in the pit, so it's on the chorus and the jazz band, because right now they don't have real good lighting.
Okay, I mean, that's probably something. that
And then we
can
won't have to
entertain.
necessarily buy additional lights to hit those areas. So
Okay,
it's
I
doable.
mean, there's a bar up there, there's electric up there. That's-
I'm just asking if it's possible.
Yeah, those, you should be able to manipulate those lights up there.
Okay. Since we
Okay.
don't need them now, because we've got the other super different lights,
Okay.
right?
And I warned you, the lighting guy said he had real difficulty with those lights, but. Yeah, okay.
Let's try before we buy.
Yep.
Well,
But no, we didn't buy for the pit.
Yeah.
That's why they were talking about.
And we talked about the installation of the solar panels or pending the Con Ed hookup. So we got some other things on here. We talked about the best concrete sleeve with the cost estimates from 213 to 237K.
Where are you?
Still on there.
Page 4.
Page 4.
Okay, I have to go back to page 3.
Okay.
So EPC is gonna be done, truck's gonna be done, blah, blah, blah. The paving to the road out there is not included in any of these projects.
No.
The cost a couple of years ago was over 200,000. That is not in the current facilities budget.
Correct.
For this year,
For this year.
nor for next year.
No, we didn't say that. I plan on doing that with my blacktop budget is,
So you don't know.
you know, we have,
We
So-
did not get an increase
So
with
if there's
blacktop.
$200,000 that magically repays, you guys might be duking it out. Is that what I'm looking at?
yeah, we do need some,
Unfortunately,
upgrades
our
on our-
budget did not allow for the additional $200,000 for that blacktop for next year.
But we have item 4.
yeah, we have item 4,
We'll
listen,
keep
our
doing that.
infrastructure, we
Keep
need
doing
to,
that. That's in the
we need to work on our roadways there.
Okay.
Right?
Say,
Yep, I'm just,
Keeping it live.
yeah, but we'll have to prioritize.
yep, I agree.
Let's see,
Level setting.
the street lights are, we've got a couple of street lights out on the, near Pinewood, we're still investigating the source of the problem.
How are we? Now that things are getting dug up and things are getting replanted and all of this, do we need to do any more digging to investigate? What
Yeah, right,
form of investigation?
we believe there's a problem right at the work pile by the golf course where there staging areas where all the dirt and digging was, there was ruts there, that there's an electrical line that goes from one pole to the next one. That's where the problem is.
So even though the stretch closer to the field was out before, and then those additional ones went out, we think it's all
It
related
could be
to
continued,
that
there might be the short there that's causing the problem.
instead of two different problems.
Correct. I think they did repair, they did break that
But
line
that-
several
that
times and
section
it's
was
been
out.
repaired. We're not sure if it's that problem that they've repaired 2 to 3 times, or if it's another problem. Our guys are looking at it, but they haven't been able to ascertain exactly what the problem is yet. We don't know if maybe somebody pushed some snow up against the pole, or somebody caught a wire that was not buried deep enough.
Yeah, but the ones out the back gate were out in the fall before the snows came. Those two down by the pond and.
Yeah, and then we
down-
fixed
those-
it.
Those have been out most of the year.
Yeah, we did fix that and they were back on for a month or two.
Very short
Yeah,
time.
and then it went out
Like
again.
maybe.
Yeah, one time we did know there was a fuse out and
Mhm.
something had shorted out, but we don't know, possibly it's the groundwater. We don't know if that whole set, we really don't know what the problem is.
Sick of this garden.
Okay,
Let's see, tennis court, the windscreens have been installed. The red clay has been put on the baseball field, and we put a little bit on the softball field. There have been complaints about animal waste in the athletic fields. Mr. McCoy purchased some signs, and they're up and around the fields now.
So I was checking out the fields before the meeting. I saw some clay, I saw the pitching mound needs to be built up, but I'm hearing that needs to be
More
a summer
clay.
job.
Yeah, the pitcher's mound should probably be up about 6 to 8 inches higher than it.
I heard 12 today.
Well, that's total. It's definitely too low. We would have to put a laser on it and find out the elevation. But it's definitely lower. It should be up higher than it is now.
And I'm assuming softball as well. Softball's completely flat.
Softball is virtually flat, yeah.
It's, yeah.
That field was also neglected for.
Yeah,
You know,
forever.
but we're trying to remedy some of this, but
So
to do that the right way, we have to dig out the mound.
Right, so I did see the clay going down, but I'm also learning that when it dries out, it gets blown around because we don't have a water system out there to wet it, to keep it compacted. Is that something that we're able, like how?
It could be.
We can
rolled.
throw clay out there, but
It could be rolled. We don't have a roller at this point. We're gonna try to have the paving contractor see if he could hit it with the roller on a damp day to crunch everything down a little more than it normally would. Otherwise, we would have to purchase a hand roller that we could put onto one of our tractors.
And then finally, the grass, did we seed at all, or is?
Yeah, we did purchase some seed and we closed off the soccer field right now, and actually.
No, I'm talking right now just about baseball. I'll get to the soccer field when you get there.
We didn't see anything on the baseball field as of yet, no.
Nothing.
But just by keeping the people off of it for last couple of weeks, you can see the grass is starting to come back on the soccer field.
Do we, so I'm gonna get back to that in a second. So do we ever have an opportunity to seed the baseball fields? Because then come the fall, we've got modified over there. Like, when can we seed that? Because then we're in the middle of the summer, which isn't really seeding season.
It's every time you go out there, there's somebody that's where the fields are, people are practicing daily.
Right.
I mean.
So I'm thinking of.
I mean, I think
In
if
the
you just
school
threw the
children.
seed down right now, I think it would just be a waste, because I was here on Saturday, the flag football was out there, baseball was practicing, softball was out there. And this is, that's on the weekend.
Right. So I'm trying to figure out for the fall seeding season, if that would be an opportunity to hit at least the softball field.
I believe that
part of
once the
the
turf field
baseball
opens up, that's gonna eliminate some of the practices and the games, that's gonna free up some space.
Okay. So you'll have that on your particular calendar for the fall for those two fields.
Yeah.
Okay, and then now you mentioned, unless we jumped ahead to the soccer field, because I did want to ask about the grass. I saw the fence around there. I saw that it's being rejuvenated. I'm assuming the fence will stay in place till like graduation time.
That's what the plan is, yes. So
I'm hoping the fence will go back up for the summer, but I have a feeling you're gonna tell me, no, it's not.
we haven't had that discussion yet.
Okay.
I know the camps are gonna be over here, or the summer teams are gonna be over there.
And then
I
we're
think
gonna have our sports seasons and we will have had full usage all summer without time for, I'm just, I said this.
For the field to.
Yeah, I'm
you know,
gonna be,
right, we need
I've said this in
pictures of
multiple
that.
meetings that we need to really look at the use by others of our fields so that our students can have as best conditions as we can give them with our limited resources and what we're doing currently, as opposed to what we want to do in the future.
And let's see, the mansion, we still have that broken window around the pool entrance caused by settling.
Wait, sorry, we did Bailey. We skipped Bailey. No,
Bailey was first.
we did Bailey, but I meant to ask, there was a broken window pane or two in the gym?
2 windows in the gym were replaced also. Yeah.
Replaced, okay. All right,
And we also replaced the gym light in there also.
and gym light. Thank you.
All right, let's see.
Broken window.
Okay, so the plaque was fabricated for the commemoration of the 100th anniversary ballet. The mansion also is another building that has a temporary certificate of occupancy due to the water main project. Teacher center, there was no new activity. The bus garage, that's still on there, consider rebuilding electric vehicle charging stations in the long term. Funding sources being needed for the program.
Yeah, it's gonna stay there.
That's gonna stay there for a bit. Soccer field enhancements, we kind of talked about that, see, other practice areas near the baseball field are less worn. But for the athletic director, there's drainage issues near first base. We did help out because by building up the clay, the water didn't pool there as much now. Soon as I could get the paving contractor over here, I'm gonna have him roll the infield to put a crown on it so the water heads towards the back development, down the hill. But after the rain the other day, the water wasn't pooling like a pond like it had been due to the additional clay that we had installed.
Okay, so at this point, we should probably just run through the pictures. Let's do it again. And I don't think I got pictures of the soccer field, no, but we have some of the other stuff. Okay.
The softball field.
So the lighter colored area is the
That's
display?
that's the baseball infield now.
Yeah.
Yep, that's looking towards the baseball field. That's the best station.
Right.
These are the workers, so the pictures we saw working on the wiring. We're the same. That's still all the electrical connections in the best station.
There's the fence.
There's the fence, new fence. No use fence.
All right, that reminds me again, so our nice new track isn't laid down yet, but we, as far as homecoming, we visited a lovely field, for homecoming, and we saw how they had a protective surface going over the.
Yeah, they do have
track
that, yes,
to
correct.
get to the turf, so that athletes who wear spikes, et
Spikes,
cetera, are not
that's part
ruining the
of
track
it,
surface.
correct.
That is something that is separate from our project scope and would need to be purchased.
I believe that
To
Mr.
protect
McCoy,
other surfaces?
I believe that Mr. McCoy was gonna order the protective carpeting for that, for when the pedestrians and teams walk across.
Okay, so maybe this is a follow-up, I don't know, I was out there, I didn't see the tennis court, to see if we had signage out there yet. But if we're gonna do signage for this, are we gonna have any signage about appropriate footwear, et cetera, on the turf? On the track?
Okay,
I
that's,
don't
we didn't
think-
get to that
not
discussion
we-
yet.
But that's a good idea. That wasn't part of the original signs that were ordered.
Okay, and maybe that's just another little bright yellow sign or something, to protect
Appropriate
this
footwear.
track, please note that, et cetera.
Football cleats, yeah.
Yeah, or soccer cleats or
Oh, wow.
whatever, and then,
Yeah.
go ahead.
The football field is artificial.
But the track to get from,
No, I get that,
Yeah.
but they wouldn't want metal cleats on an artificial.
right, that's what I'm saying. Like when we were at homecoming at that field, they have a special mat, so
Can we
you
walk
walk
across the
from,
track to get to the
Right.
turf field?
Artificial turf.
they,
Yeah, but
like,
what
like
kind
a
of-
break park,
What are we worried about? I'm just trying to,
ruining the new track surface with
what?
Regular
whatever is
football
appropriate.
cleats, soccer cleats.
But it shouldn't be regular football cleats going on the artificial.
No, but to get to the artificial turf, you have to walk across the
He says
track.
they're not using the cleats.
But we're not
Because they're
using
artificial.
cleats on the artificial.
What kind of shoes do they use on artificial grass?
They're rubberized shoes. Just like you don't have metal spikes.
They're
on
no
your-
metal, but they still have nubs on them, right?
Yeah, but so do the ones you.
Right, so I think we don't want any sort of nubby shoes.
Nubby shoes on the track.
So whatever our track provider recommends.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
Yes,
because
yeah.
most of the tracks that I've
Would they
been
be very
to,
clear?
that's not an issue.
Okay.
Because the rubber should be able to handle the rubber from your shoes and soles.
All I'm
Yeah.
saying, and let me put it very clearly, all I'm saying is whatever our track manufacturing contractor says
Yeah.
should not be on there to maintain our
And
warranty,
all
to
I'm saying-
maintain our
all I'm
warranty.
saying is
Key.
don't do a bunch of signs that would be redundant. Because then you waste the money for signs.
Agreed, so we're gonna check to
We'll
see
check with
what
the
needs to be done to
manufacturer's
maintain.
recommendation for
Yes.
appropriate shoe wear on the track.
Good. Okay, now.
Okay, now we know what we're doing. We found out there's a fence. That's good.
All right, Nick, Luke, continue the, oh, we got the new fire hydrants that are bagged now in case
There's a fire.
another company came out, they would realize that that one didn't work. This is the Highview Elementary School, the roof that's being worked on right now. More pictures of the same. Same pictures of Highview. Just a different angle of the work. Yeah, more of the same. This is the baseball field
sign.
right there.
It's a sign.
Yep, those are no pets, no dogs. That's the Highview. The last one was at Woodlands. This is the work for the water main fire hydrant project. If you look on the side, you'll see where the water table is. Now, this is the valve for the wet tap as they were doing the work. And that's the valve. And that's after the rain or the next day when we get groundwater started to seep in there. No pictures in the same area. And that's the water table on the Pinewood side of the road. Those are the vaults that you were talking about. If you look down to the left, you can see a valve just under about a foot and a half of water.
Yeah.
There you go. It's a different view. There's where the lines go into the vault, but the vault's underwater, so that's why they're gonna create the hot box to elevate them up above the surface. More pictures of the work area. Tennis courts.
Windscreens.
Yep, windscreens installed at tennis courts.
There's the door, there's the access gates.
Yeah, those are the locks on the gates.
Did I read that there was an issue with the corner of one of the courts?
Yeah, there's a spot on the retaining wall. You'll see it.
Yes.
Okay.
They call it effervescence where there's a crack in there and the mortar leaked through and dyed the surface.
There.
There we go, yeah. They say that's fairly common, but the contractor will fix it and find out what the cause is, because there's obviously water through there.
Right.
Typically, when the concrete is fresh, that's when you're gonna get it.
Do
The
they have a,
effervescence, it's called.
do they have an ETA on when they're gonna?
The construction manager sent out a follow-up email to the contractor, again, just a couple days ago.
I think we're in boys tennis season, right?
Tennis, I believe, has started, yes.
Yeah, so.
This is some of the work that they're doing, the restoration. They moved the rocks back, they break, and that's the hydro seed.
Does that look messed up?
It looks a slightly different unnatural color now, but.
Okay, okay.
Just the project, the lines that were chosen for
And
the.
if you zoom in on the lower right-hand corner, you could probably see where the. Yeah, scroll there. The wet tap
is located on
and the valves are right across the road there.
Yeah.
Okay. And the other end, of course, is
The
the edge of the project, you know,
the
stone
stone
next
oaks,
to Stone Oaks on the left-hand side. Yeah. Okay,
So we know that, we'll be able to determine about how the height is right down there.
okay.
This is the old water tower, the grotto. If you look, if you blow that up a little bit, you can see that on the bottom we installed the fencing there to keep people from being able to climb in there easily. That was brought up a couple of meetings ago.
Yeah.
In the fall. Next slide, Luke. There you go. This is pictures of Woodlands High School cafeteria.
And it's the shells is the
This would
reason
be
you're
the
showing
shells.
this picture, right?
Mhm.
Which is, the shells are the windows, the mortar,
Doors, the exterior of the building, the whole,
windows,
floor.
doors, and the mortar work.
yes. We'll put pictures of the cafeteria, several more.
Yeah.
And you can see how some of the windows that are.
In need of
in
attention.
need of, attention. An overview of the property.
Okay, question.
Yeah.
What was the final decision regarding the windows in the Woodland High School? Refresh my memory, please.
That was one of the projects that's
It's one of
gonna be contemplated, I believe.
Right, it's phase 4. So we have a whole big list of possible projects to choose from or combinations thereof, and we were filling out a matrix, right?
Okay,
And people objected and said, hey, we don't have all our options on here. We want to see more options. Tell us about the cafeteria and the innovation lab and some unspecified administrative option. that
Yeah,
the superintendent held that, right, which is what Kelly did.
okay, but I was specifically asking about the windows. So the answer to that is that it's still on the table, but no decision has been made. Is that
Correct.
correct? Thank you.
Correct. And as far as, if you were also referencing the science room project, we determined not to put in new windows as part of the scope of that project to save on the cost to get those rooms open. That those windows would be enveloped in the bigger window shell project.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
That's it.
And this has to do with cell towers, repeaters.
Yes, I did have a conversation with the town of Greenburgh, antenna committee.
Mhm.
And, just reaching out for some information to see. How we could improve our services. It turns out that, Hartsdale Firehouse on, West Hartsdale Avenue, they do have a repeater.
Okay.
So do you see, Luke, where it says Our Lady of Shorta? It's basically right across from there to the left. It's where the
Oh, I
firehouse
see.
is roughly.
Zoom in to the left corner,
Just for
maybe.
comparison for people who might not.
Yeah, I think,
Yes.
Yeah, so you see that cross, just kind of across, well,
yeah, there's Stone Oaks and then there's the church on top of the hill.
And that's on the hill, I think.
Here.
just a little bit
Yeah.
south of there is where the.
I don't think I can go, yeah.
Yeah,
But
and
just
you,
as far as in comparison to the campus.
and at the time we had the conversation, you told me, hey, maybe we could
Yeah, it's
put
just kind of-
something at the
it's just kind of
church
a shot.
and.
She made a suggestion that, maybe the church would be interesting in, obtaining a repeater. That would, that's on high enough ground where it would probably work in our, campus also. If we were to, how it works though is I guess there is a cost involved, like if you go with a repeater, we have to do logistics and, I have to get more information, but I guess if you have a repeater, you have to maintain it somehow. She was trying to explain that to me, but there is, possibility of others from the other side, maybe the Scarsdale side down below, that we might have a good enough line of sight. I don't know with the distances, we would have to do some homework. I don't know, down in the Fairview side, there's a couple of businesses that I'm told she believed had it.
Okay,
Because I know that one of our, when you're at the mansion, you could see, you're almost at the top of White Plains, the tallest buildings.
right.
So that's, would be one of her suggestions, like the top of the mansion, or possibly the water tower.
Okay,
So that we still have to do some homework.
right. Water tower is defunct. It's not doing anything else.
Yes, and it's fairly high in elevation, and it's fairly close to.
Because it provided pressure for the
I'm
bathrooms.
wondering if it would reach the football field.
So we would have to, do our homework, get the engineering out and see how far the computers would work.
60,000. Okay.
Go ahead.
It would seem to me that if we can put it, if the logistics work for us, it seems to me the easiest place to put it is on top of the water tower. Then we don't have to worry about whether or not other entities are willing to do it, whether the churches will cooperate or will a business cooperate. If we could do it right there on our water tower, then we don't have to worry about getting permission from other entities. The other issue is that have we ever looked at approaching the utility company and asking them to put up a tower? I know of churches that actually have a tower in the bell tower, and the church is getting about I don't know, $60,000 a year in rental fees. So you can do that. The other thing is that if you look at if you enter it 287 going west and you look above, you see a flagpole. But that flagpole is actually a cell tower. It has a flag on it. They raised the flag, and for all appearances, it just looks like a flagpole. It's not these ugly um, towers that you see all around, and that's another possibility. And you get rental from that if the utility is willing to place that tower on our campus to get better reception in that area. So that's something we should look at also.
I did reach out
I think we started with that.
I did reach out, I called a couple of different providers, I want to say Verizon, AT&T, I sent out some emails too, I haven't had any responses, I don't know if I'm trying to reach out to the right people or not, but I did make several calls and send out some emails, trying to obtain information, that's why I reached out to the Greenburgh antenna company, maybe they could help point me in the right direction with a contact or something. The only thing with the water tower and or the mansion, those repeaters, if the closest one is say the Hartsdale Fire Department, it only, I don't know if the distance is compatible, so that's viable, that's why I think we would need possibly the church to help us along the way. We have to do.
You have to find out the,
homework and find out
what the
what ranges,
of the tower
from the site of the.
Hartsdale Firehouse too.
If we have a better line of sight, the Hartsdale Firehouse is a little bit lower than us on the other side of the mountain, but we might have a better shot if we're down from the White Plains coming up because we're so much higher than them, so we have to do our due diligence there.
Go ahead.
Can I clarify a few things? One, in the project list, you had previously called, so here, project several carries, there was no interest in paying the district to have an antenna on site. So apparently that option currently doesn't exist for us. As far as the repeaters, I want us to clarify what need are we trying to address? Or are we just talking about this? Because from my recollection, this is where I'm glad Ms. Medina is here, I believe we have now sufficient coverage in the Woodlands Middle High School building because we had to have that in place to be able to do computer-based testing for all grades a year or two ago. So is the need that we're trying to address this building, the campus, the football field for various reasons? What is the need we're trying to address with this conversation? If that could be clarified for me, that would be.
I just think that there's a bunch of dead spots in the building that we have to.
But I think there's the cell data versus the Wi-Fi, which is what we were.
Correct, yeah, this way we could have the cameras down on the football field, possibly, we could have
So
cameras.
that's one thing, if you
But that's
need
the clarity.
We're trying to figure out exactly how this could.
but what geographically? Where are we
Yours is
trying, where are we
going to
targeting?
improve, right?
Okay, but Chris, you made a statement.
We're asking you, Dan.
Yeah. There was some talk about, they were trying to get some service around the campus, I don't know. In the commons area, your phone doesn't work, you go in the free low hallway and it doesn't work.
Kids don't need phones?
Yeah, so when we started the project, it wasn't illegal, right? We didn't have the governors coming down and,
Okay.
right? Forbidding us to,
No, I'm truly asking, because yes, there are dead spots, but for the business of the school and the kids having computer-based
Yeah.
testing and all of that, we have enough Wi-Fi coverage, I believe, to serve all of that. Yes, there are places in the building where people don't have service, but people also have phones in their offices and other places to be able to make calls. So for me, I'm seeing more of a gap in the football field area to do connectivity, to do like huddle recordings.
Yeah,
or
that'll
to
be
do
the other stuff,
additional
actually, the
cameras, et
cell
cetera.
service is actually
So,
pretty good.
but if I'm not aware of other needs, I'm truly asking.
Trustee Bell,
safety app.
to be keeping in mind what you were saying, the gap at the football field is that there is no internet connectivity, which is why the fiber project that we have up and coming is going to take
Forgetting,
care of.
I keep forgetting about it's every meeting.
It's gonna be big, it's gonna be big.
Oh, yeah.
So that will take care of.
So
it.
that might be a moot point.
I think you guys had started talking about cell tower before I came.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see, is it something we can
Yeah.
take off the list? That's
I'm
really.
with you, it sounds like.
You could assign it a lower
Right, which
priority.
is why we tabled it in tech, and we went with the extender route for the Wi-Fi within the building.
So that would,
Right, and
that would probably eliminate the need for that unless it was a moneymaker.
Okay.
That's what I'm hearing.
Apparently, there are no.
Apparently it's not, because there's no interest in paying the district to
Right.
have an antenna on site.
And then,
I have a question, please. Now, I am totally confused as to what our objectives are. And the comment was made that we cannot put in a cell tower. So number one, how do we come to that conclusion that we cannot put in a cell tower? And number two, I hear about repeaters and why we can't use the appropriate audio visual equipment in the field. So what exactly are the requirements we have? And how do we meet those requirements? And why is it that a cell tower is off the table?
I think the easiest thing to address is why the cell tower is off the table. So could you repeat what you said earlier?
Well, it was brought up that maybe the cell tower could be a possible moneymaker for the district while improving the cell service on the campus. There are some dead spots, but if we're gonna be going for, fiber optic throughout our campus to bring it down towards the football field, that might eliminate the need for that, that's, something that's.
Okay, so, but you
Discussion.
tried
So
to.
at some point, we have to make a decision because it seems that we're going around in circles. Let's get a cell tower. The cell tower doesn't work, but we don't need a cell tower if we do fiber optics. But at some point, we have to make a decision as to what direction we're going, or else we have all these balls up in the air and we don't know what we're doing with them. So at some point, you do some reasonable background and research on the options, but at some point we have to make a decision of the direction we're going.
Which is why I was trying to go back to, it's on the list, but what was the need that we're trying to address? I was trying to get all the way back to the beginning on.
I believe it was brought up in the committee that it was a potential money maker. In the cell phone service, was the issue. You guys been talking about this from, I believe before I got here.
Before both of us, but they're two different things. The cell service is still an issue, but the remedy is the Wi-Fi and that you can connect to our network for that. And that is what the extenders are for, because they help with the connectivity for students, which is what everything is around, right? Then it was, because you guys know when I first came, you were like cell towers, I was like, wait, what? We went down that pathway because we knew it was going to be very expensive. I believe it was initially $70,000, and that was now 3 years ago. Then we were told that yes, the district could be paid money because we would be having it for that. It sounds like, in what you've looked up, that is no longer accurate.
Nobody was reaching out to me. I reached out to see if it was feasible, viable for, us to rent our property to potentially make some money, but I didn't have any takers. Maybe I'm not reaching out to the right people, but.
And because of that, then the remedy was we'll do extenders.
On our.
And that will, they can connect to the Wi-Fi and make a call if they have to, but like you said, yes, cell phones are not even supposed to be used currently, and there are classroom phones. So there's still two different things though, and I feel like they get lumped together.
Let me ask for one point of clarification. We had a safety committee initiative in which we purchased an application that was supposed to be on teachers' phones such that they could issue an alert. Is that
Tap
app? So has that been implemented?
So I can't in-depth talk about it other than because we cannot force them to put something on their cell phone. That is something that was pushed out to the desktops. But there's still multiple components to that being fully rolled out, and who we want to have the ability to be able to contact 911 through said device, because it would be them downloading on their cell phone.
So do we have a need for cell phone coverage due to the TAP app?
If they were utilizing the TAP app, the TAP app could be utilized via Wi-Fi, so I'm still gonna say no. So the bigger hurdle for me, right, is that we can't force them to have it on their phone.
Okay, so it's coming down. Yes. Katie.
Yeah, I just want to point out in terms of phone calls and texts, like, yes, the kids are not allowed to use their phones, but after school, like I've arrived at the school, I'm in the side parking lot by where we used to all go in before the vestibule, and a text can't go through. And also, I think the phone reception's okay, but I'm not right there, but no, like when my husband was on the phone on the way to the school one time, when we got up to the teacher's lot, like the person couldn't hear him anymore. So like, I mean, there are definitely reasons people are using phones on the campus that are like legit, and improvement in that area would be welcome.
The fiber optic was also.
So the fiber optic project would improve it, but they'd have to be on the Wi-Fi.
Public, right, which public will not. to unless.
They would have access, because remember, instead we're moving towards consortium where they would be logging in with their phone number and staff members are logging in with their actual login credentials. So it's secure because that's how we know who is on doing what. And then they have access very simply at that point, so. Not fixing the data portion, but still enabling them to make phone calls once we move over to consortium.
Now here again, I think we need to step back and take an integrated view. On one hand, we're talking about updating our total system and the lockout and a certain amount of technology is embedded in that. And then we're talking about the communication in other parts of the campus, whether or not it should be a cell tower and whether or not it should be repeaters. I think we need to develop an overall strategy that will look at all these technologies and first of all, identify what our ultimate requirement is. We should start off with what is our requirement before we go into making selections of what we should do. We should say, what is our requirement? And then knowing what our requirement is in terms of lockdown, in terms of being able to communicate effectively throughout the campus, be able to communicate from the field, what are our requirements? And then based upon that, then you develop the remedies. But it seemed at one point we're talking about requirements, and next time we're talking about remedies, and we seem to be going back and forth between remedies and requirements. So I find it very difficult to follow exactly where we're going.
I have a list in my head of requirements and I'm looking for alternative remedies. And if my entire checklist of different people who want to have reasons to use cell phones, who might use a repeater, and there's some other technology or technological solution, then I check a checkbox off. And if my checklist is exhausted, I don't need the cell tower.
Okay, but then I'm glad you're doing that, but I think that's something that the whole committee should be looking at and buying into that, so we're all on the same page, and knowing what the requirements are and the possible solutions.
Right. Okay. So just in my process here, you just said if we go to consortium, that will solve some of our problems. Does that mean that the parent coming on campus is going to be able to talk or text their student and picking up from athletics?
If they're connecting to our Wi-Fi, yes, using Wi-Fi calling.
Okay. So that's a check. That's a check. Is there a solution for us to be able to communicate with security measures to guard our battery energy storage system and make sure that our football field is monitored and all that? And she's telling me we've got an internet solution that will take care of that without the cell towers, right?
Yes.
Sweet.
Okay, but could we somehow document that, see that information on a sheet so we could all look at it and then it's very hard it's very hard for me to follow it. If you make a statement, someone give it and someone else make a statement, it's nice if you could see it all laid out. And then we would be in a better, at least I'm talking for myself, at least I will be in a better position to follow the logic.
Okay, so we need a 2-column table. We'll put it in the next time's agenda.
Thank you.
Are we ready to move on?
I think we are ready to move on. All right, so it is 8:55. Oh, good Lord. Okay. Item 8, phase 4 project. right, so we know that phase 4 had several options that we approved. There's a table around, starting on page 8 of, prior, so the options were priority 1 and 2 building conditions survey. We have copious documentation on that option. We have exterior shells. I took the breakout from the sheet and broke it down by building. So you can see if you wanted all the, exterior doors and windows to match on new building, you might go for an ECP project and just do ECP. You might go for a WM Woodlands Middle High School project. That would be a lot bigger, and you have to make a decision as to how you want to do that. The mansion ventilation, we still need some of the other items to get the mansion open. I requested that from BBS. They were not timely in getting it to me. We'll work on that. We'll probably have it next month. The ECP classrooms at Lee F. Jackson depends on enrollment. We had an old enrollment projection, and we have enrollment projections for next year, right? But we don't have anything for like 10 years out, right? Yeah. So that's yet still TBD. Then we have, going down the list, we talked about the cell tower, and it's sounding more and more like maybe it's gonna fall off the list, and we'll come up with a chart of objectives and solutions and see if we can eliminate it. Then the cafeteria, I took pictures, and the $12 million for the Woodlands Middle High School shells, part of that is the cafeteria, okay? So there's some subsets, so we've got to figure out how big that is to be able to tell how big it is. The other thing that was included in that list for the exterior shells was repair stucco at kitchen service court. So that might be part of the cafeteria project as well. So then the new options were cafeteria, innovation lab, which we heard a big presentation on. We can write that up and put that in here. And then the administrative option of, we called it access control conversion, however you want to do it. That's what Kelly Virginia went over with us. So we've got that.
Can I,
Yeah.
are we able to still add stuff? Because Dr. Chisholm did have something that she wanted to know if we could add to the list.
Dr. Chisholm was given carte blanche to put in what she felt were the admin options. We told her that back here, the exterior shells were one. This was part of it. If she's got something else, throw it in.
I believe there were bathrooms.
Okay.
Are you aware of this?
I'm
Additional
just going to take this opportunity. I say this again at most meetings to remind us of the process. Yes, this is a committee where we solicit some input from the community, but the district administration has the right and privilege to also make their own suggestions outside of this committee. And if any expenditures are proposed to the board, that's when the board will make a decision, bearing in mind all of the relevant feedback that those votes may differ from all of the recommendations. So I just need to say there's multiple venues to get things done. It does not have to all come through here.
No, I understand that. I was asked to waste that.
I'm the voice of new law, and I do feel the need to always restate.
I will tell you that in the past several years, we come through and usually Tracy comes in and says, we have, here are these bathroom projects, or here's this gymnasium that's going to be done, and it's not a capital project.
Typically,
So
that's
we,
something that comes out of my budget.
right.
And a whole new bathroom?
Yeah, I did the 2 on the second floor.
Okay.
2 summers ago.
Yeah, yeah, and we watch it, we watch it, we monitor it.
Made you numbers.
Yeah, it's
Because
not
it's summer
like a
time.
capital project.
That's fine. I was asked to
So,
bring it to
yes.
this committee, so I did.
Yes.
But I'm also, and I'm gonna say this as well, sometimes, not all the time, sometimes I also say that yes, we have these medium-sized projects that come out of a current year budget and not a capital project. But sometimes it'd also be nice to keep putting stuff in our piggy bank for our huge major cost projects. I'm also gonna check the opportunity to say what I said before. Some of this is current year budget, it's not capital. This is furniture. That's just me. Okay.
If you add up all,
Give me money, I'll
if you add up all those numbers, you may think again. Okay.
Yeah, well, you could say.
All right.
Over the couple of years there, so
Yeah.
$1 million for one of the big
Yeah.
projects.
Okay.
That's on the.
So having said that, last thing, what, next to last thing, what is the status of the letter to John Rappaport?
Last I checked, it was with legal, and legal came back and had a couple of questions. I think, the last thing so let me just ask you a question.
Okay.
Because the most recent letter that I saw looked different from the first letter that had gone. And legal was questioning that because there was an additional piece with it from something called level 10.
Can I just, let me interrupt, please. I would just like to say that the district did provide a letter, did craft a letter. Let's say it was December. And that letter can be sent, was sent, and can be resent via the hands of our ally. Any other letter probably would need to be re-edited to be like the letter that was sent.
Well, that's what we did. We sent it to legal, so it would be reviewed, but honestly, it's the way it's written, there's some
Too conditional,
concern.
it's too conditional.
Yes.
So the letter that was sent in December is the letter that needs to be sent again.
Okay, as far as I can tell, there are dueling versions of the letter. There was the December letter, and then our ally, thinking that there was no letter, drafted his own.
Which
And-
is similar to the letter we saw in the spring.
So
that letter is
both
not-
are in the hands of legal.
Legal has, the letter that was crafted in December, sent in December, is the letter we can resend again with our ally.
Okay.
Yeah, the current letter would need to be revised.
The letter
The way
that's
it's
similar to
written,
the letter
isn't it?
from the springtime is not something that the district will sign off on.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Take a look at the minutes. If you have your packet, they're a little shorter this time. They were not generated by AI. So,
Should start with facilities, it should be facilities minutes.
I don't see it.
The agenda,
And maybe,
it was a Word document. I'm not seeing it.
yeah. Let me check.
Did you attach it to the agenda maybe?
No.
The end? No?
No, it was a file and I copied it up and the question is. The question is did it take? Okay, so we're gonna have to run with what I've got.
Or we can run with what those of us in the room can
With
see.
what's, yeah,
And I've scanned through the first 2.5 pages.
okay.
So let me continue. Yeah, but it's patch box and kitchen. I move that we approve the minutes for the March meeting as submitted.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We have a minutes, okay. Anybody want to bring up any new topics?
I don't know if Nicole Longmore was trying to speak earlier, just a long time ago.
Nicole, do you have anything to say? It does.
Yes, hi, everybody. I do have something to say, but I don't think I'm properly prepared to address it at this time. And David, I remembered you from last year, and I'm coming back this year with the same proposal, but I would just like to talk with you one-on-one if that's possible. Now that I see that you are now a member of the board, and just kind of run it by you before I present it, if that's okay.
Sure, you're gonna send me an email?
Yes, I sent you an email last time, but I think it's because I sent it to your personal email why I didn't hear back from you, but I will send you an email. I will follow up with the I've sent before. And should I attach anyone to it or just send it to you and we can schedule a time?
You can send it to me. I'm dwarner@greenburghcsd.org. DWARNER@greenburghcsd.org.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. I'll send it to you before or by 11 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Okay, we have a meeting every month. So it'll be a month out. We'll have another meeting. All right, good.
Okay, yes, I see it. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else?
I just want to confirm our meeting is the second Thursday of each month, because I know with the holidays, meetings got turned around. So I just want to confirm it's the second Thursday of each month.
No, it varies.
Yeah, that's what, yeah, that's
Run into obstacles and Facilities Committee, May 7th.
May 7th. Okay.
Yeah, 6:30 p.m. Thursday, May 7th.
Okay, good. I'm glad I asked.
And the last one is June 22nd, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, June 22nd. All right, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye. Good night, everyone.
We're done. Good night, everyone.
Good night.